So, I don't feel like doing an update. Let me explain. Without going into too much personal details, yesterday around 3:45, I had to say goodbye to a good friend of mine that had been in my life for over 17 years. And then around 4:30, I was given very bad news from back home. So yeah, I don't want to get into people's personal health that's not my own, but I have a lot to think about right now. I have a lot on my mind. And I was contemplating, do I go to Disneyland and film my weekly update video, which is something I love doing. I always start out every update video saying, friends, it's my favorite time of the week, and that is not an over-exaggeration or a lie. I am so lucky and fortunate to be able to go to Disneyland every week and do this, and I never take that for granted. But that being said, there's been plenty of other people that have documented what little bit of news that has happened over the last weeks. Nemo's coming soon. We've got a date on when Haunted Mansion is going down. Pirates is back to floating. You've seen it, you know it. So friends, Ricky here with a very different vlog this Friday. It's me, trying to escape the real world and getting away by stepping into the world of fantasy. What do you say? Let's go on this adventure. First ride of the day, actually stopping and taking the time to sit on a Disneyland bench, and oh, what a bench did I pick. Now, while this may not be the most exciting thing for you to watch, the Disneyland bench is my favorite ride. I know it's a little bit of kind of a sellout move, right? You can't pick between all your favorite rides, so you just say something wild like, well, I like the benches. But friends, when the park was closed for over 400 days, sitting on a bench in Disneyland was something that I dreamed of. And if you've been with me since before or during the pandemic, you know that when DCA opened up for free DCA, the first thing I did that night was get a Trenta cold brew, extra ice, light splash of whole milk, and I just sat on the bench and just watch it all go by. That would become a weekly ritual for me. So yeah, sitting on a bench in Disneyland, it's one of the best attractions that exist. If you can get one in some shade, it doesn't matter what land, what street, what thoroughfare, just watching Walt's creation go by, I think, is just a completely magical way to escape away inside of the day. Just sitting and watching others enjoy the park, there's a contact buzz to it. It's like, I love this thing. Seeing other people love it and enjoy it, it reconfirms my own love. On the way here, there was a little boy sitting in front of me on the tram, and he was reading the sign at the age where you can tell that he was excited that he can now read, and he was sharing with his mom what he was reading. And what he read was, "To all that come to this happy place." And it's amazing that Walt's opening day words are being repeated by a child just learning to read that probably has no idea who Walt is. And Walt certainly had no idea that this child would come to the park. But yeah, seeing that moment definitely reaffirmed that I'm in an emotional mess and I need to just vibe chase today and not news chase. So yeah. Yeah, I'm in a peculiar headspace. I'm excited to ride the train. In full bench transparency, there's another bench that I won't accept, which is the forward-facing bench. I'm waiting for a stadium seating train to come by and oh, look, my patience is rewarded. Able to make my move after Main Street over Frontierland to get that front row seat that I want. Now I'm locked in for the rest of the roll. If you see that little dot in the center of your screen, that little flower that's on the backside of Club 33, those are little insignias that you will see when you're in the real New Orleans. Many times it means that you have paid your taxes or you have contributed to the fire department or police department, which then back in the day would give you the privileges of their amenities. This little patio that's covered by the trees, there's one small tabletop there, a little two-top. That little room was built for John Lasseter, where he wanted to be able to sit and watch the Disneyland Railroad go by. We all know John is no longer with the corporation, so a friend of mine, who is the head architect of the Club 33 redesign that created Club Nouveau, had that room named after him. Shout out to the Louis Room. Over! Disneyland Railroad remains one of my absolute favorite experiences inside of the park. I could just ride it all day, and in fact, someday soon, I will. But right now, I'm just gonna roll around the park. I don't have a ton of time left, but I had to come over here and just see the subs going around the lagoon. This is one of those attractions that I don't care to ever ride again, but I love seeing it open, I love the movement of it, and I love for you to get to go back on it. If this is something you enjoy, I'm excited for you. I don't have to be a part of rides or attractions at Disneyland to enjoy them. I can just see them going by and kind of get lost in the idea of creation that put them here in the first place. Good to see this old friend back, and even better to see the lagoon open for clear views because it creates the best of vibes. And if the monorail didn't close down because of the heat, I'd be riding a lap on the monorail right now. But not today. Not today, monorail. Too hot. Teacups is another one of those I do not get on attractions, but I absolutely love to stop by here and watch other people ride it. Dare I say, the most beautiful attraction at night. What's up, my man? How you doing? I absolutely adore it. Never want to ride it. So if you ever wondered how you turn around a train being pulled by a horse that's on fixed tracks, the train stays where it's at. It's the horse that goes around and pulls it in the opposite direction. I love hanging out on Main Street and just catching all these little details. What a good boy or good girl. They are good. As long as I'm gonna spend the day doing my favorite things, I'm gonna go check out the original map, the original model of Disneyland. I love looking at this thing and seeing just how far it's gone, its evolution, and its original ambitious footprint. But also, if we're gonna talk about the best bench in Disneyland, well then it has to be Walt Disney's bench. If there's one I dream of sitting on, it's this one. Right here. The absolute best bench in all of the Disneyland Resort. The best bench that the Walt Disney Corporation owns. Walt's bench. Where the dream all came to him. I don't care how much of that story is actually true. I want it to all be true because it's such a great story tell for dreamers and designers everywhere that literally you can sit on a bench, look off at your kids having fun, and dream a better version of not only your future, but everyone else's. I know here lately I cover the news and I get into the new management of Disneyland and the cost cutting and the Genie Pluses, but I want to let you guys know that's me in my home studio looking at this from my business part of my brain. When I pass through the tunnel on the right and I go underneath the Disneyland Railroad and I'm inside the berm, I leave all of that behind. It still is a magical place for me. You know, while I'm having a self-reflective day, I hope I never ever forget the pain of being in here just 2 Julys ago when they finally opened up Downtown Disney. I was lucky enough to come on the cast member preview of Downtown Disney, which means, and I bring that up because there maybe was 500 people in all of Downtown Disney. And even though it was scary to go back out in public, it was so amazing to be back in this familiar space. But I'll never, ever, hopefully forget the heartache of walking up to each of those 2 gates and seeing them locked. That's before they roped off the front gates of Disneyland. Like, I actually got to walk up to the gate and look through and see pieces of Main Street. I just hope that that memory always sort of flashes through my mind as I walk through the Esplanade, because yeah, I don't ever want to forget that, because it reminds me of how far we've come and to never ever take any of this for granted. Not for a second. I'm currently in talks with Disney about a national treasure type film, but instead of trying to get, what is it, the Constitution back, instead me and Philander break into the park and we take out the time capsule years before it's supposed to come out and hatch, and we steal the treasure from DCA. By the way, come on America, I'm so sick of half-mast flags. Let's get our together. Time for one more attraction to keep everything nice and balanced like Thanos likes it. Let's do my favorite ride, Disney's California Adventure. My favorite vibe ride. My favorite ride we don't have enough time to wait in line for, but my favorite vibe ride in DCA. Probably the greatest reason why I love riding on Mickey's Fun Wheel is from up here, DCA looks just like the model inside of Mr. Lincoln's theater that represents the park on opening day. Seeing it from above makes it feel incredibly small, but also allows you to see how all the pieces lock together. Just a puzzle of problem solving, which is why I love this place so much. Friends, this is exactly what I needed to see today. I needed to come inside the berm. I needed to get away from the real world, and I need to get away from my mind. What it does for me, what it does for my mind, my creativity, but most importantly, my heart. I hope each of you have something that you love as much as I love Disneyland. And hey, if it's Disneyland that you love like I do, it's probably why you're here, because we're cut from the same weirdo cloth. All right, friends, I'm out of time. I was only able to come here for a little over 2.5 hours, and I conquered what I needed to conquer. Got in a couple of rides, caught so many vibes, and got to get out of my head and escape. I love the escapism of Disneyland, and I hope you do too. If you want to see a fun time that I had with my wife and some friends hacking a Disney After Dark event that made no sense, watch this video right here. And if not, I'll see you real soon. Thank you so much for taking this much needed mental lap around the Disneyland Resort with me. And a massive shout out to all my friends at club1313.com for making this content possible and for understanding that I needed to take a break and step away this week. Love you all. You truly are my Disneyland family.